Hello everybody and welcome back to the breakdown. I'm Tone and it is super great to have you back with me once again. And boy, I've made it. Today is day 28. That's 4 weeks of self-imposed lockdown. I locked myself down against the mask mandate before stage 4. And now that it's 28 days, I have to think about what to do from here in terms of a daily breakdown video. I'm going to continue to be in this self-imposed lockdown, regardless of the fact that they tell us we're allowed out for shopping and whatever else. But I'm going to remain in this lockdown. But this video, I don't want to make this video about me. I want to talk about the people that I was already talking about that have pre-existing conditions in terms of depression and anxiety, and how this whole situation has inevitably affected them. There are people who are ending their lives because it's just far too much. The cost in lives no one's tracking the numbers. We're not hearing the numbers. Maybe someone is tracking them, but we're not hearing about people that are committing suicide as a result of these lockdown measures and the fear that is going into it. It's open-ended. We've now got this date pushed out to the 13th of September. And not only that, we've got to a case now where the Premier is looking to push through legislation to open-end the state of emergency laws. And we've got people who are really succumbing to the fear of all of this, and understandably so for some. They probably feel so super hopeless and helpless. And yet they keep pushing on the ads and they say, we're all in this together, we're all going to make it through. And yet they keep pushing the numbers and saying, this is how many people have got COVID and this is how many people have died of COVID. They don't talk about died with COVID but not of COVID. Anyone that's got it and then dies, whether it's what caused the death or not, they're the numbers we're getting. I'm super confident of that. But what I wanted to draw attention to, I was having an interesting conversation today, and the best types of conversations is when information is passed from one person to another and it is accepted and it's verified, and it brings about a learning experience for one or both of the parties involved with the conversation. But this conversation for me today was because I raised the issue about the depression and anxiety and everything like that. And the other person at the other end of the call told me about there being a correlation or, being a relationship between low vitamin D and low vitamin B being associated with higher stress and higher anxiety and those sorts of things, saying that, if you took a vitamin D supplement, or if you have more vitamin D and you have vitamin B supplement, your stress levels can be down, your energy absorption is up. I mean, I knew that about vitamin B, but your energy absorption is up. You get better use of what you're eating, essentially. And because your energy levels are up, obviously so are your spirits. You have so much more positive energy rather than just feeling flat and useless and down in the dumps. So I thought I'd share that. Understand that since people have been locked up, they're not getting out, they're not getting any sun, and so they're not getting any vitamin D, there's no sun. Add the fact that we live in Melbourne. If you're from Melbourne, sun, you might get it intermittently. especially at this time of year. But people are getting less sunlight, their diet probably isn't so great, and then there's no physical activity, they're not getting out to do as much stuff, and it all just combines. Add to that all of the stress, all of the not knowing when to go back, when they can go back for a job. It's all of that could be coming together to be too much. Now, I joked on the phone. I said, okay, well, perhaps I should get on my video tonight and I should talk about the fact that if you're feeling low, if that's you, and you just feel like, okay, I got nothing left, I don't know what I can do, and you then go, well, how about I have a cup of tea and a nice slice of toast with Vegemite on it. That's a very Australian thing to do, and Vegemite being high in vitamin B, you might just find that after that piece of toast and cup of tea, the extra vitamin B might just be enough to lift you up, and you might go, you know what, COVID can go suck it. I'm going to beat this. I'm going to make it through this. And the difference might have just been a kick of vitamin B. I just wanted to share that with you because I found it interesting. I think that it's valuable information for anybody, anyone who's feeling low during these times. Maybe you just need a kick of vitamin B. And if you can, get out in the backyard and get some sun rays. Just sit out there. If you like reading a book, get out there, read a book. Whatever you're doing, just try and get some sun, especially if it's sunny. Make the most of it. Get your vitamin D, get your vitamin B, and we are going to make it through. And hopefully that is enough to boost your energy. And as I've said before, get into some fitness. So time for these push-ups that I've been doing for every one of these 28 days. And I've come along pretty well. Now, I power through them. Oh, crack goes the shoulder. Showing a bit of age. Never mind. But yeah, just get some physical exercise in there. Boost your energy levels. Start smashing it. But it might just be a cup of tea and a hot piece of toast with Vegemite. Who knows? And if you're not so much into the Vegemite, there's plenty of other ones, although maybe not Marmite. But get into that vitamin B, get into that extra vitamin D, and maybe it's just enough. Maybe it's just enough to help our body chemistry get to a point where our thinking can't be so much that we can't deal with. Take from that what you will. I'm just simply sharing it because it's information that I'm certainly going to take to heart and certainly put to use. Because there are some days when I do feel extra flat, extra low. I think my diet is pretty good, but perhaps I'm one of those people also that needs to get a bit more sun and needs to have a B vitamin every now and again to boost my energy levels, especially when I'm not going out to do quite as much. Well, I'm not going out to do anything, but there's only limited stuff I can do in the backyard before I run out of stuff to do. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you all. Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was, all the stuff in the media at the moment. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Today, we have a Prime Minister saying mandatory vaccine. All over Facebook, all over everywhere. He's backpedaled quite a lot and said, well, actually, we'd be moving towards hopefully making it that we'd have 95% of people taking up this vaccine. They've got to be mighty careful how much they push this. People are getting fed up, absolutely fed up with the stuff in place, the restrictions in place, and all the stuff that they're pushing. And some people are starting to wise up to the numbers and what it all means. And that's a good thing. And I was disappointed that, I'm quite a fan of Scott Morrison, but I was disappointed when I heard that. Now, well, it's only just come out, so we do have to be a little careful with how critical we get, but it didn't sound good. And rightfully so. Anyone that says that they're not wanting to get it, a vaccine has to be a choice. It has to be a choice. And it can't be linked to something like you can't do anything in a lot of different ways unless you have got the vaccine. I'm dubious about the herd immunity. Herd immunity. I'm dubious about that. If you immunise people against something, they become immune. That's what immunise means. You've made them immune. So if someone's been immunised and then they're put next to people that haven't been immunised, someone got sick because they weren't immunised, but they did come into contact with someone who's been immunised, they'd like to make you think that that person who's already got the injection could still get sick from it. And that's ridiculous. What's the point then of immunising if a percentage of people that never got immunised got sick and then they make everyone else sick anyway? So, anyway, but no, well, I'm a conscientious objector to vaccines that I don't believe I need to have. And there are quite a lot that I've never had, and will never have. And there are many reasons for that. I don't really feel that I need to go into those, but it should be a personal choice. Now, I am very, very strong advocate for particular vaccines, especially for infants and younger children who are still building immunity. But once we've got to, my age, immunity is built with being out in the elements and allowing our bodies to adapt to certain things much more than what I think a needle can do. And if the day does come where I do catch something and get sick and that's the end, well, so be it. That is the end. And I've got contingency plans in place to deal with what I leave behind, or to who I leave behind. And much the same way as my father did also. My dad, he had contingencies in place and had to rush some of them through to be prepared for it. So am I. So I will make my choice and I will live with my choices. And I don't believe that it's anyone's right to force something especially of that nature onto me or indeed anybody else. So it was interesting to hear that in the media today and to hear him say that. So these push-ups are against mandates of any sort, mandating the mask, mandating injections, mandating hard borders when there's no need to. I know I've spoken about these borders being, or the border between Victoria and South Australia most likely being restricted harder. And so I wasn't surprised when that happened. I knew that they'd probably have some reason that they'd come up with. But it's interesting to see, I think, coming along when it does come into place, and for quite a long time after. Because I believe that they're going to do, or some people are going to call for inquiries into this stuff. So it'll be very interesting to hear the result. Now, today I heard more details about that, of course, and I'm sure you probably have also. 300 international students coming from Singapore, but before they got to Singapore, they came from many other places that aren't disclosed to my knowledge, and they're going to land in Adelaide, but the border has to be closed between South Australia and Victoria, even though it was already closed, except for the 40-kilometre buffer people. And that doesn't make sense. And anyone that is annoyed by this decision and really bothered by it, I understand that, and so you should be. This is government control gone mad. There will be inquiries, I feel certain, and it will be incredibly interesting to find out how all that pans out. What a year we're in, 2020. Now, I fully expected in the few years leading up to this one, been a long time since we'd had the 2008 crash in the share market, the financial crisis. It'd been a long time before that again, since we'd had, 01, 2000, 2001, we had dips because of Y2K, everything like that. So it was bound to come. We were going to have something come along. Here it is. But I could not have imagined that it would drag on and be quite like this year is turning out to be. What a year. So I think that's about it for today. Day 28. It's been quite well, it hasn't really felt like a long 4 weeks, to be honest. It's gone quite quickly. I've kept myself busy. I've been, like I've told you to, or, suggested that you do. I've been educating myself. I've been devouring information. And I'm looking outside of my own life, my own circumstances, to actually see what's going on out and around. Not so I can control it, but so that I can mitigate the risks that are likely to come along at any time that is imposed on us for reasons that they will justify in any way that they see fit. So just keep an eye on this Victorian state of emergency being opened indefinitely, and whether or not that actually occurs, whether the legislation is passed through in September. That will be interesting to me, so keep an eye out for that. We'll see how that all goes. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining me once again on the breakdown. I really do appreciate your time. I hope that what I share with you is encouraging, is eye-opening. And please feel free to share this video with anyone that you think needs encouragement. These push-ups are, once again, against the government controls being put in place that are not justified in any way, no matter how they want to spin it. They're also in support of anyone who has depression and anxiety at this time, and to remind you that if you have low energy, you're feeling flat, do what you can to get a bit more sun, have a cup of tea with a slice of Vegemite on toast. It might just be what you need to lift those spirits, get those energy levels up. If you like the video, please like. I'd love you to subscribe if you would like to also. And as always, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm Tone, this is The Breakdown, and I will see you tomorrow. God bless and bye for now.